Hey, what's up? Welcome back to Mindy Doing Things. My name is Mindy. I like to do things, and one of those things includes going to the local Goodwill store and just taking a gander, taking a browse, and seeing what's inside. All sorts of goodies. So the last time I went, I found this really weird, unique, wooden, arched mirror piece with a small shelf, and it was so old that the paint, the white latex paint on it was almost sticky to the touch, and it was actually turning a little bit yellow because of how old it was. But I was really hoping that there was going to be a nice wood underneath it, so I bought it. It was 10 whole American dollars. I took it home and got to work. So the first thing I did was take off all the hardware in the back and take all the staples out so that I could remove the backing and get the mirror out of there, because I just want to work with the wooden frame for now. And as you can see, that mirror was pretty gross. It is gross. So now that I have the wooden frame by itself, I went ahead and hit it with some citrus strip, which is a pretty decently safe paint stripper. I'll put a link in my bio in case you guys want to grab some for whatever reason. But yeah, basically you take whatever you have, in this case my frame, and you just slather it on there. I mean, you want to be really generous with it, like you're frosting a cupcake, and leave it on there for 24 hours, and the next day you come in and you scrape all of the paint off, and it should come off easy breezy, lemon squeezy. It's a bit of a messy process, so I have some goo off, but also you can use mineral spirits to kind of wipe away anything that's residual. And then you just want to sand the heck out of the wood. Just sand it and prep it for staining. I'm gonna put my frame on top of some plastic cups before applying this Varathane pre-stain wood conditioner. This just helps the stain absorb more evenly so you don't end up with streaks or blotches. I actually really love this step of any woodworking project because I feel like it's the first time I get to really see the wood take a new life after it's been dulled down by all the sanding. It's just really satisfying. So once the pre-stain is dry, I'm going to apply a coat of this Varathane wood stain in Special Walnut. This and the pre-stain are actually left over from when I built our coffee table, so I was really glad I didn't have to spend any additional money for this project. So far I'm only down $10 for the frame, and I'd say that that's pretty solid right now for a thrift flip. I let the wood stain dry overnight, and then the next day, when I was dressed as a 1990s Dwayne Johnson for some reason, I came in and applied some Varathane polyurethane to seal the wood and give it that nice finished look. You have to be really careful when you're applying this because it will dry in the shape that it's left in. So if there are any drips or thick streaks, you want to make sure to just wipe all that down, because if not, you're going to be able to see all of that texture once it's dried. Now it's the next day and the polyurethane is all dry, so I got to work on the mirror and clean the living hell out of it. Once that was done, I applied some super glue gel to the back of the frame and popped the mirror in. The cross section of the frame was bowing out a little bit and wasn't making good contact with the mirror, so I ended up just putting a bunch of weights and some clamps onto the mirror to help it stick. After this, I installed new hanging hardware and decided I wanted to add some hooks to the bottom of the shelf for keys and stuff. So I went to the Home Depot and added a whopping $3 to the cost of this project by buying a pack of small hooks. I didn't have a drill bit that was tiny enough to make the pilot holes for these hooks, so I ended up just using a screw that was around the same size and threading as the hooks, and it worked out just fine. Next, I grabbed some hanging wire that I conveniently had left over from when I hung up our gallery wall and tied a piece to the hardware, and after that, the arched mirror piece was all done. Okay, so before I show you guys the final reveal, I wanted to remind you of what it looked like when I found it at the Goodwill store. It was old, it was dull, it was a little sticky for some reason, and it was so old that the white paint had kind of turned into the color of like a pale cheese. Took it home, gave it a new life, and now this is what it looks like. Well, that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope you guys liked the outcome. I'm really stoked on it. I only spent $10 at the thrift store, and everything else I basically had at home already from a previous project, so it really worked well for me. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Subscribe. Goodbye.